welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen. It is your boy, the franchise player, Double B, Bad Blood, joined by my main man, Chemical Julian. According to Woods, Mr. Adam Woods, and the lovely heel of the internet. She is the one and only Hot Take Kate. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. How you doing today, guys?
Good, and I think it's being sexist. You calling her a heel just because she's the only female on the dais. That's pretty fucked up.
It's okay. I'm a self-proclaimed heel.
She's earned her heel status, bro. She's earned her heel status.
Yes, and Julian is unvirgining the islands apparently on this like West Coast trek.
I don't want to talk about Kate or Julian on their fucking beautiful trips.
Okay, South Padre Island. Texas. Where did you spend your damn weekend, good sir?
Look, I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
It wasn't a
consent is always sexy, Ram Jam.
It wasn't a beautiful. Hey, whoa!
Don't tread on the.
Hold on here.
We just saw a commercial for Texas, didn't we? Do you see Stone Cold while you're down there? You go by AT&T Stadium.
Oh my God! Here we go. Here we go. God damn. Anyway, Kate, how are you doing today?
I'm mostly good. I think I'm a baby face on the internet this week, but let's turn me back because I hate it. I like being a heel better.
She loves it, bro. She loves it. Okay, Kate, you want to be a heel?
I do want to be a heel.
This is what you need to do. I want you to look. Come close. Come close. Look in your camera.
You people. Now I'm a heel.
There it is.
There
it is, ladies and gentlemen.
I did it. It's because of you people.
Because of you people, we had to watch Monday Night Raw tonight.
It almost sounded like a Zeb Coulter fucking promo. Good God.
Oh my God. It's every I'm sorry. Well, I'm like the rest of this podcast is boys, but if there were girls on, I would have to be like, you bitch. And that would be our entire
No, you can't say that because then we have to feud. Every time someone uses the
I know,
word
well,
bitch.
it doesn't matter because you guys are men and not women. So that's the only way women.
We're not doing intergender wrestling or whatever Sunny Kiss is or isn't tonight.
So look, ladies and gentlemen, the bodyslam.net has expanded to MMA, and the man down there below Kate, Mr. Adam Woods, according to Woods, you can find him every week on According to Woods on YouTube. He is now part of the bodyslam.net family. Welcome, brother, officially.
Boom. Glad to be a part. Cassidy, Kate, Bad Blood, Julian's even here. We're all here. We're all going to full gear. I don't know. Yeah.
Hey.
I wish.
How about we do this? Yeah, I wish too, Kate. I wish too.
I'm not.
But this is what we're going to do. I put a poll up.
Uh-oh.
And
the Rab is scared. The Rab
Here we go.
Are scared as shit.
You tell these guys one thing and they just fucking drag it through the mud. It's like a rematch clause in Raw. It's like every week the same thing over and over again.
Let's see what that poll got going on.
Okay, so basically the poll is this: should we do instead of doing our regular Friday night show like we normally would do, live here on bodyslam.net, we do a SmackDown and a AEW Rampage show, but instead of doing just that, maybe we should do a predictions warfare show. And what I mean by that is Julian loses every time because Julian fucking sucks at predicting this shit. So,
this has only been one time, and because of the rules of prediction, I was given leftovers. I was given scraps, if you will.
He was giving scraps, ladies and gentlemen. But hey, we were tied 4-4. And then the surprise match is what I won. So, yeah, prediction. That's right, Cheryl. Cheryl knows predictions warfare, ladies and gentlemen. It's going down. AEW's huge show, Full Gear. So, I'm thinking what I want to do is I want to have representatives from the Jabronis podcast, the Roundtable Pro Wrestling podcast, the Push, and we have 2 new members of the Roundtable Pro Wrestling of the bodyslam.net family. And Kate, they were actually on an all-woman show with you the other day.
They were. So at Fightful, we have the Distraction brand, which is run by Jeremy Lambert and Joe Holbert. They are just so much fun, and they actually do better long-term storytelling on their podcast that I think WWE does right now, which isn't saying much, but they played a very fun angle basically leading into the Women's Evolution show for myself and for Hannah, who was fantastic. And we did an all-female takeover. And at the end of it, what we tried to do was spotlight a few up-and-coming women who have been a part of the Fightful Faithful that have contributed in really positive ways to everything that we were doing online with our content. And both Jay Shell and Carissa always sending in super chats, always having really smart takes online and interacting with us and being so wonderful. So it was the two of them, and then the Cease sisters, who Allie Cease is actually training to be a wrestler. So it was just fun getting those 4 women on at the end and getting them a little bit of a spotlight. And I think it was pretty clear and evident that Jay Shell and Carissa were just 2 outstanding voices at very young ages. And they're not like good for their age. They're great right now. Like it's pretty damn cool to see that. And so I love that was a result of it, kind of. I know that Cass had his eye on them already, but as soon as they were on, it's very evident very quickly with both of them, just that they're very charismatic and smart, and they have really sound opinions. And damn, if I was as smart as them at that age, they're coming for me right now. So I'm nervous, but I'm so glad that they're a part of it, and you should definitely have them on for some predictions warfare. My friends at the Wizards podcast, they do predictions, and my favorite thing was one of them just forgot to send in their predictions, and they just gave him a goose egg for the whole run, and he's not in last place. How sad is that? So, predictions, man, it's a tough business. It's pretty WWE. It's pretty predictable right now, but God forbid you do New Japan stuff. Forget it. You're screwed. Impact's had some fun, quirky stuff going on, and AEW is kind of somewhere in between, I would say. They throw you curveballs every once in a while, but even when it's predictable, it's usually pretty sound, and good wrestling doesn't always have to be a surprise. So yeah, you guys should do that. That sounds fun, and definitely get Jay Shell and Carissa in there. They're
Carissa just messaged me on the our group chat and said she's sorry she can't join tonight. She's extremely tired and she has class in the morning. That is right, Carissa. You do that. You go to school, you get that education so you can come steal our jobs.
You have class all the time, young lady.
She is really good at what she does, ladies and gentlemen. I watched that show and I was thoroughly entertained. And I retweeted a lot of stuff you guys did. It was really, really entertaining. It was almost as it was a lot entertaining than Raw. That's for damn sure.
That's a low bar, but I still appreciate the kind words. I'll take it.
Is Powerpuff Girls still on? That's probably more entertaining than Raw. Legends of Make It Inseparable.
I will tell you this though, I'm very proud of the WWE for one thing. And I know look at Adam's eyes. Adam's like, "What? You're proud of the WWE?"
Tanking the stock price?
Well, besides that, they gave the women's the 5-way 21 minutes.
They did.
Literally, that's the whole fucking Queen's Cup tournament or Queen's Crown tournament.
That means they're going to Saudi Arabia soon.
Well, you know what? I would love to give them a pat on the back for that, but we are once again back at the point where their roster is so thin that now you can showcase a handful of people for much longer versus just like a few, throwaway matches, kind of like sprinkled here and there with people getting 2 and 5 minutes. Yeah. So, I mean, kind of work with the best that you've got, work the best that you can, but that's what they're doing. They're just working with a lean roster, a very lean roster right now.
It's so difficult too, because I don't want to grade on a curve because the programming has been so bad that I don't want to reward people for doing what they should do. 21 minutes on a 3-hour show should not be that big of a deal. But at the same time, you can't handcuff stuff, which is something that is a continued issue for, I feel like, my analysis, because I complained that they weren't pushing Selena Vega. She won the whole Queen's tournament, right? Which is great. But it made no sense that she was even in it because she had just lost for 6 months before getting to that point. So I feel like I'm complaining she's not getting pushed. And then she finally gets pushed. And I'm like, but it makes no sense because you hadn't been pushing her at all. That's a part of it too, where I find that even when they're making progress, it's they haven't done it in an organically built enough way where I'm buying that people are viable contenders to do any of this. But that's because they have managed to make nothing feel relevant in the past 18 months. It's just been Championships
know
don't
what?
matter because wins and losses don't matter.
Right.
True.
So that's it. So 50-50 booking, wins, losses don't matter. But also, if you were doing logical booking, then Doudrop would have won the Queen's Tournament because you would have had the storytelling of her starting off with Eva Marie, breaking free of her, establishing herself, boom, boom, boom. And then, oh, by the way, I was also in this other tournament a long time ago, and now you're calling me Doudrop, but, I've always been, and just there's a bigger story behind it. Zelina Vega has a story to tell also, but none of it was told. I mean, it was just kind of like she was here for a while, then she got fired. Okay, now she's back. Hey, now we're going to give her some wins. And now we're just going to make her a heel queen. And we're going to team her with Carmella because they're heels and they just work really well together. And fine, if you want to do something with that, that's great. I mean, I have no problem with that kind of storytelling. But things
But there's
have to
no
make
women's
sense.
tag teams. And that's
Well,
not even hyperbole. There's literally none.
There's a women's tag team belt, but I mean,
yeah. And the people that hold it, and then now just mashups of two people at a time on an already thin roster. Like, this is what I mean. It's like there's progress, but it's been the well has been so dry leading up to this point that it's so difficult for me to
even care.
to really truly be invested. Like, Bianca Belair is probably the best example of it. Like, we kept hearing that she got squashed at SummerSlam because there's big creative plans for that, right? Like, it's gonna you're gonna have such an empathetic babyface, and all she's done is lose since. So I can't even buy that she's a top contender. What I buy into is the idea that she wasn't that great of a champion and she got squashed in 26 seconds because she isn't that good. All she keeps doing is losing, and it's so unfair to them. And then on top of that, you look at like what Shotzi Blackheart's promo was the other day, and it's like the only way to make a promo feel organic right now is to talk about how poorly your booking's been in WWE because there haven't been properly built feuds. So all you can say is like, I lost my tag team partner and wasn't replaced with anyone. I had a contendership match and it got taken away from me for no reason. Like, that's the only way to make things feel relevant right now because they haven't built out any feuds properly. So it's just very tricky. And I don't, I hate like not being able to not grade on a curve because it's like we see these incremental baby steps and you're like, finally, it's something that's maybe even remotely watchable at times. And that's not what it should be. I should not be shocked by like a clean finish where it's a great match and someone just wins and loses. That should not be surprising to me. It's very frustrating.
Well, isn't that the equality, right? Or should we celebrate WWE for its equality? That the women's tag division is booked just as shitty as the men? And I don't mean to hinder the gender, but I mean, is Zelina Vega, the female version of Jinder Mahal? Mahal winning, getting.
Here's the thing: you say
Whoa. She has never been that great in her life.
Hey, that tag team in Impact was awesome.
Modern day Madame Raja. And believe you me, she has never been a part of one of the greatest factions to ever exist.
Three-man band!
Oh, God, not you two, Kate. Not you two.
No,
Please,
it
God,
was terrible. But you can't even say that that it's equality because there's literally no women's division other than the tag team belt holders.
Exactly.
Is there a male tag team division?
I mean, there's any male tag teams. There's the Viking Raiders. There's the Street Profits. There's AJ
let's talk
and
about
Omos.
that crazy
AJ and Omos.
That crazy 8-man tag team match that was earlier. Well, you had the World Tag Team Champions. You had Rated RK Bro, and then you had the Dirty Dogs.
That's a hodgepodge.
Look,
that's a hodgepodge.
That whole match
was
they've had a
crazy.
They've had a run, at least as RK Bro. Like, this has been going on for some months.
Correct.
But this is like the Hollywood Bond's gone right? Like,
here's the thing. But before we get into Raw, let's talk about the thrown together fucking Survivor Series pay-per-view that just happened over the weekend. I mean, you got Big E versus Roman Reigns.
They didn't cancel that pay-per-view?
You got Charlotte versus Becky. You got Nakamura versus Damian Priest. You got RK Bro versus the Usos. And then you got that crazy 5-on-5 shit. Like, quite honestly, this pay-per-view thrown together the way it is, I mean, it was thrown together on fucking Twitter.
Yeah.
You know, and you got guys talking shit about it on Twitter, like you had Ricochet, like, hell, what happened to qualifying matches? You know, then you had King Woods, like, yeah, you know, what did we win if we won this shit? You know, like it was literally thrown together Saturday morning.
So the dude, I gotta say, assuming this is done right, I mean, the main event matches or the title versus title matches sound. I mean, it'll attract a lot of people. I mean, who's better, Xavier Woods or Roman Reigns? Adam, I know who you're voting for. I mean, who's better between the two tag teams? I mean, it's brand versus brand. Now, as far as the qualifiers,
brand versus brand, some of these guys were on the opposite brand like 2 weeks ago.
Most of them were. Most of them.
The
were.
fucking women's team, the women's Survivor Series team, 80% of that team was SmackDown, and now they're Raw. You know, so it's like, dude, like, remember back in the day, and Adam can attest to this because I know he is a wrestling fucking like aficionado. Back in the day when Survivor Series actually fucking meant something, like legit, it was like the traditional thing for Survivor, like it was the traditional thing for Thanksgiving. Like, soon as Thanksgiving came around, you're like, oh shit, Survivor Series. Remember when they had team names like
the King's
like
Court,
like what?
The King's Court.
Okay, like Jerry Lawler's team, yeah, King's
Lawler
Court. And then like the Heart Foundation was a team. Then it was like it was like the Warriors, the Hulkamaniacs. Remember they were like team names, and they remember they had the Visionaries, which fucking the Warlord with that stupid thing over his eye. You know, back then the Survivor Series meant something. Now, to me, it's like a fucking house show.
But you know what though? Looking back on Survivor Series back in the day, like a team like the Hulkamaniacs, it was really funny. I was walking the dog today, and I was thinking about like
Hulk Hogan,
how things change, how much things change versus how much things stayed the same. And so Bobby Lashley coming back on Raw tonight, you know, he kind of wrestles, but he doesn't. He kind of shows up, whatever. But you got to remember that Hogan had been out of doing shooting movies or some shit. Came back towards the end of a Bret Hart versus Yokozuna match where Bret Hart got some sand in his eyes, and he just goes, "Hey Hogan, I'm tagging you in. Finish this guy off for me." You know, and then you would have, Hogan. It would be like 5-on-1 with was the 5-on-1 with Hogan or Savage in Survivor Series, and they just valiantly fought their way back and won the whole thing.
It has to be Hogan. It had to be Hogan. And so, and I think they even did that with Cena versus the Nexus. And every time we as fans see that, we're just like, like this is painful. We can't watch this kind of stuff.
Well, it just.
But it's speaking of the Thanksgiving tradition, it's almost like a tradition for these things to happen.
But like, I think about, God, we had NXT come in and clean house, right? A couple years ago, and now NXT's not a thing. Not bad NXT. And last year you had Lana being like the breakout. Like, you can, in the same way as a tournament, and I have a tournament mark. I love tournaments because it feels like, I don't know, a sport. You can set up storylines with the consequences of what's happening, right? So in that 5-on-5 match, like, they positioned Lana to be the breakout star. Where is she now? Released. Like, and who else was there? Nia. Released. It's like, you're not building stories. So wins, losses, and titles don't matter. And you might just release everybody that you're allegedly building at a moment's notice. What the fuck am I supposed to be invested in your product? I don't even mean that like as a sarcastic jab. I genuinely don't know what I'm supposed to be in, other than Roman Reigns has been obviously great. Wonder whose fingerprints are on that, Paul Heyman. And I've liked the stuff that was going on with Naomi. That was pretty cool. And for some reason with the New Day, they tend to give us what we want. They gave us Big E as champion. They gave us King Xavier, right? Like, the few things. And now Big E versus Roman is going to be great, but to what avail? like Charlotte and Becky, how many fucking times have I seen this match? Like, you have a new star in Bianca Belair, not in this. You had every opportunity to just, with logical booking, have her come out as your Raw Women's Champion instead of doing this title swap bullshit. And that you swap titles and then have the nerve to tell me brand supremacy is a thing. Your own champions don't give a fuck. Like, this makes no sense.
Well,
that's what I'm saying. They don't even fucking care.
I'll do one better.
Has been my complaint this entire year. If you don't give a shit, why am I supposed to give a shit? My poor dog is like my mom, just screaming at the microphone at this point. But like it's so lazy. And then to release it on a Saturday during college football.
Like, no one was fucking paying attention.
Who gives a shit?
Right. Well, I'll do one better, right? The titles. I grew up with the Winged Eagle, right? You could even, the Big Eagle or what have you, or the Hogan 86 or Andre's title. There's been brilliant iterations and unique, kind of iterations of title.
Oh, like, the spinner belt. No,
oh my God.
Okay.
This is why Kate's a heel. That's why Kate's a heel.
But here it stands. I have the California State Amateur, title belt. This was something that if nobody knew nothing about MMA and they went over to the champion's house and they were like, "Oh, what the hell is that?" And like, that's a championship I won. It's like, oh, that looks cool. This shit, my God, this is the shittiest versions and iterations of titles. It's like a fucking promo piece. It looks like worse than a damn Mercedes hubcap. It's fucking shit. It's absolute fucking shit.
Dude,
Spinner belt was worse. In the women's picture, the butterfly was worse. The butterfly belt.
Oh, the Divas title.
Looks like
I will have a butterfly belt better than whatever the fuck this is. And again, the only deciphering that you can have as a fan is one is red and one is blue. And to your guys' point, none of it fucking matters. The band percent. What the fuck are we doing? What the fuck?
Why not name them the women's universal belt then, or whatever? Like, why are you making them brand specific and backing yourself into this corner in the first place?
I'll tell you what. So look at the big picture of the way the company is being run, and it is completely. It's like lean manufacturing what they're doing. Number one, with the title belts, the entire reason why you have this one particular brand of a plate on different colored straps is because when it comes time for making replica belts and selling them in the store, guess what? It's a lot cheaper to buy a bunch of these same molds and these same brands and to just have different color belts. It increases your profit margin. That's why these title belts are regular price $439 or $449 now, especially on sale for $329. Because their overhead costs for making these belts has really gone down. Now, where they're really spending money is on the women tag team belts, which they are not really making that much of. But you'll also see that some of the other belts that they have out there, like the old school Unified Championship and your spinner belts. I mean, some of them they just have like leftovers from stock or whatever. But the newer belts, they're just like, hey, we need to be able to manufacture these really easily and crank them out and get rid of them. Now, that is also the same way that the company is being run. And I got to say, there's one aspect of WWE's employment practices, if you want to call that I'm not mad about, because WWE is really being like, hey, we're in a bad relationship, or I'm going to be a bad partner. I don't want to waste your time, so I'm going to break up with you. There's something about that I got to respect. Because this comes from, women will tell you this all the time, and men will say this to women all the time. Don't waste my time. And
why the fuck did you sign me in the first place?
Right?
Don't waste my time if you're not going to sit around and collect a fat check. Now, here's the thing.
Taya fucking Valkyrie, you're going to pretend that you didn't know what you had in Taya fucking Valkyrie. Give her 6 matches on NXT as Frankie Monet. Why the hell are you signing her in the first place? You know everything she's capable of.
So here's the thing. I heard around the the watering hole that this was just a pandemic fucking gig for her. That she was making 6 figures on the indies and with her Loca brand, right? So this was just, hey, the indies have dried up because of the pandemic. So I'm just gonna
She was an Impact. She was
no. But that's the thing. She's made money and she's made a brand out of herself that's worth at least 6 figures a year.
Okay, so
right?
here's my thing, and I understand where Kate's going with this. So I'm gonna lay it out like this: I'm not gonna hire 30 fucking people and then say, "Hey, I got this real cool storyline. We're gonna start with you, Bearcat Lee." You know, they push him with this stupid ass gimmick for 3 weeks, fire him.
Okay.
Aleister Black, they put him in this
Middle of the
stupid fucking
storyline.
thing. They literally fucking make a goddamn t-shirt. Like they're gonna sell his fucking shit on WWEshop.com. I am not promoting that, by the way. They're gonna put his shit on the fucking website. And the day they fire him, they're like, "Oh, pre-sale shirts, pre-sale right now for Aleister Black t-shirts." By the way, he's fired. You know, creative
They
has no
produced vignettes for
yeah.
that.
Creative
But
has no
here's-
fucking idea what they're doing with anybody. And what they
No.
did was it's talent hoarding. They knew AEW was fucking coming along. They knew AEW was kicking all the ass. They knew Impact Wrestling was starting to fucking pick up steam. Hell, even I'm sorry to say this, Kate, because I know you were watching it. You love them. Ring of Honor was starting to do some shit.
That was awesome.
And then they're like, oh, you know what? Let's take all these fucking guys, so these people can't get them.
No.
And then when they get them all, they're like, fuck, now we got nothing. We got nothing
Absolutely.
to do with them.
I just so with Keith Lee, right? You got to think about Vince's mentality, at least what we know about it, right? The guy that hired the wrong John Hennigan wife, right? The guy who, basically John Hennigan will never be a star in that company because of the dalliances of Melina and fucking Batista from what damn near 15 years ago, right? So with that all being said, Keith Lee is not a person that goes when you emulate relationship. WWE hired them so AEW can have them and never wanted them. Hold on to them. I see what you guys are saying, but the thing about it, I every situation is different. I think for Taya Valkyrie, again, this was a pandemic gig. She never wanted to go to the WWE, and even with her husband being there. She never wanted to go until pandemic happened and all the indie bookings that she had dried up. All the the t-shirt sales and all the stuff. But we should be proud of Taya Valkyrie and continue to support her post WWE career, because she, as a woman in this fucking business, she made herself into literally $250,000 brand per year on her own.
Why the fuck are you sending her to NXT in the first place?
100%. Mexico, Japan, she's been everywhere. But that's
She should be on the main roster.
Yes, but that's the thing. It's just she just wanted to sign her NXT deal, and then once the indies started opening up, she's looking over. And
she just ran her course at Impact. There was nothing else left for her to do.
Hey, you know what, guys? I will tell you, as much as a hard time that people give the WWE, it is still the grandest stage of them all. And I'll tell you, if I can work for WWE for a year, whether they use me or not, if I can get on TV, have my name, have my Twitter handle with the _ WWE next to it. It's one of those things you put on your resume and you say, I worked here. I got my salary up to this point. And as far as building a resume go, it's like saying, oh, I was CEO of a company one time. Oh, I was, and not like my own company that I made up, but I was CEO of a real company. And so now I've qualified myself to make X amount of dollars. A lot of these guys will now use that I used to work for WWE, blah, 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 to now say I should now be paid X number of dollars for a booking.
Right.
Well,
As much as everyone gets in the ring and tells us how much they love professional wrestling, none of these motherfuckers are doing it for free.
You guys
I agree with that.
Completely
and
missing
so
the
promote
fact
yourself, promote your career.
AEW's women's division fucking sucked at the time that Taya Valkyrie signed with WWE. Don't miss that. She had done everything there was to do at Impact. ROH didn't give a shit about their women's division at that time. MLW had nothing going on for the women's division.
Right.
There was nowhere else for her to go. Of course she was going to go to WWE. It was the next logical step in her career. That is no excuse for the way that she was treated. And if the reason that she was fired was because of her age, you can absolutely fuck off until the end of time and suck my balls into oblivion. She's phenomenal.
I agree with you, but again, I guarantee you she's gonna charge an extra $5 for her 8x10s. I guarantee you she's going to add another zero, now that she has been on that, she has that, right? And rightfully so, but that's why I'm saying, it was just a pandemic fucking deal. And once, Indy started opening up and whatever the fuck, like, she's back at it because again, she can
gonna crush it, and her most of all.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
like,
100% she is.
I don't think that's why she signed there. I don't think it because of that. I think she wanted the next step in her career to be there. I think now people might look at AEW as a place to go where you could really make a difference as a woman if you're not going back to Impact, which if they're smart, you go there because the knockouts are far and away the best version. But like NXT, like this 2.0 reboot, like I think it's very easy to forget how great the NXT women's division was before this bullshit.
Correct.
Like, of course you're gonna want to go there. Like genuinely, sincerely, not a pandemic gig, want to go there when you had Rhea Ripley and Shotzi Blackheart and Dakota Kai and like there's so many great women that Toni Storm was down there. Like it was kind of neck and neck with the knockouts. You're going to say that's the next place I'm going to go. But it's just disgraceful to take a $190 million quarterly profit victory lap and then release your talent on the same day. Absolutely get fucked.
No, not this show, Ryan.
Ryan Sullivan. Ryan putting over Hot Take Kate up there.
Yeah. No, and then with Keith Lee, he's just not that. He's not confident in his business dealings, right? Like, they get a WWE 24 on it where he's very sheepish. As big as he is, he's a gentle giant. But that, to me, that was his death knell to go to Vince. As big as he is, and he doesn't have the presence. If you've ever been in a room or been in the presence of fucking Vince McMahon, you might not be the biggest person. Him in between Great Khali and Big Show is the shorter gentleman, right? But the thing about it, he's got a bigger presence than both of them. And what the fuck is a Bearcat?
As a person, I thought Vince McMahon was a piece of shit, right? Until I was actually I was backstage at a show, and I had my son who was 7 at the time. And backstage at the show, they weren't allowing people to take pictures with their phones and shit like that, because kayfabe back in the day. And Vince actually stopped and said hello to my son, and offered him an opportunity to go get popcorn. And I looked like, wow, Vince is a fucking like a man. He's a dad. Business wise, Vince is a piece of shit. Vince is a greedy, fucking money hungry, fucking stuck in the 70s ass old motherfucker who thinks he knows what's best for business. It's like saying, I'm a man and I know what's best for all women. Kate, you shouldn't have your hair down because it's not best for you. How the fuck am I supposed to know?
It's all right. I'm in my 30s. I'm well past my prime, according to them. They can fuck off till the end of time.
Right.
What makes
But
no
you see what
sense
I'm saying, right?
is to have him be your North American and NXT champion, have him come up, have him have a match with Roman Reigns. That's phenomenal during his championship run. Have him have a moment with Brock fucking Lesnar at the Rumble. Where Brock Lesnar looks genuinely excited for maybe the first time in his goddamn career. Then he has to go away due to COVID, develops a heart condition, and you release him.
But wait. Here's what you guys are all missing. Randy Orton is the standard bearer right now in WWE. Randy Orton is the guy. Randy Orton is the gatekeeper. And you brought Keith Lee up and you had him cleanly beat the gatekeeper. Yeah. To the point where Randy was like, this fucking guy is great.
That doesn't matter. It fucking doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's there. It could be fucking Buzz Aldrin. It could be Buzz Lightyear. It could be whatever. And nobody's going to give a fucking shit because the company has either told you, and it's not just the fucking talent. How long? Over a decade since fucking Linda's failed bid at Senate in Connecticut, right? Twice, right? we've been told that we're aged out in terms of the target demographic of the WWE. And guess what? Now they want us back because AEW is fucking facilitating that part. So guess what? For me, you can't have me back, Vince.
Hey, Adam, that's not why they want you back. They want you back because the people who were their target demographic back in the rock and wrestling days are now professionals who are aiming towards retirement, who've got a shitload of money in the bank, more than these 18 to 40-year-olds who are out there fucking knee deep in college debt and trying to get their lives on tracks, and some of them still living in their parents' basement. I mean, next, I would not be surprised if they started targeting the retired community, like 65 and over.
Oh, they did in
have the
NXT
most
2.0.
disposable income in the U.S.
Right?
NXT 2.0,
is
the median age was like 62 or
Like,
something.
like,
The
really?
fucking
You got your
median.
grandfather-
You guys have to understand this. WWE is a company. They
I
are
know,
in
but, like,
business. They're in business to make
part of
business.
this.
But
But if they're all spending money on AEW, that means they are finding the money. My thing is they haven't made a new fucking star that's bothered to stick around. In the past decade, Roman Reigns, everybody's taking this victory lap on Roman Reigns. That took 6 years.
Yes! Gates!
6 years!
Yes! Yes!
6 years.
Tell him!
My
my
God. If you don't make new stars, and all the ones that they have made are because of them being shitty at their job. CM Punk obviously hit the bricks. He was the biggest star they had, and it was because they booked him like shit. Who was next? I don't know. Bryan Danielson, who also hit the bricks. Did the whole Yes movement come along
wait,
because
before
they
you go any
pushed
further,
him
look.
and stopped him?
Both Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson, they both did interviews, and they both publicly stated that they loved working for the WWE. That they loved it, but they still fucking left.
They still left
I will-
because Adam Cole was going to be Bearcat Lee, now released manager, and
Correct.
Bryan Danielson had a moment at WrestleMania where he wasn't sure if he loved wrestling anymore. Do you know how shitty your product has to be to make Bryan Danielson question whether or not he loves wrestling?
And,
Punk.
At
I disagree with that one.
CM Punk said the same thing. He said literally when he left Ring of Honor, he left wrestling.
Pro wrestling.
And when he came back to AEW is when he came back to wrestling. So that whole time he was in WWE was just like, God damn, here I am in the fucking circus.
I want to hear Julian's rebuttal because he said I disagree.
So the whole Daniel Bryan thing, and we talked about this on a previous podcast. Daniel Bryan is in a position in his life where one bad move, he could be out of wrestling for good. And the speed at which he likes to work and how hard he likes to work, it makes the chances of that and the chances of injury happening more and more likely if he keeps working at this speed. I will tell you now, the last thing WWE needs is superstar Daniel Bryan found dead, former WWE star. Even if he's working for AEW, they will call him a former WWE star and ... And there have been so many of those over the past 20 years. Former WWE star who hasn't worked there in 6 years, 10 years, 20 years, but former WWE star dead at age blank.
Yeah, I thought he kayfabed them though.
WWE does not, they don't want any more of that. And so when they're telling Daniel Bryan, when they're being careful with him and saying, dude, you've got concussions, you know, the style of wrestling that you like to do can lead to more and more concussions because people landing on your back and landing on your head. We don't want to be responsible for you working here and for that problem to get that much worse. So take some time to heal, change your style, or do something else. And because he wants to work the way that he does, he went to work someplace else that would let him work the style that he wants to work, which is fine. But what I'm saying is, and this is what I said before, I am tired of seeing former stars at age 60, broke as fuck, sitting in wheelchairs and signing autographs, talking about how they can't walk or they can't feel their arms anymore. Or, I mean, shit, the only reason why Arn Anderson kind of got his career cut short is because Eric Bischoff's dad had the same problem, and Eric saw him not able to use his hand, and he was like, dude, I know what's wrong. You can't do this no more.
I completely get that point, but the other way to prevent people from having concussions is to not have them work 300 days a year.
Yes.
Well, so here's the thing. So you can work 300 days a year and work a quote unquote lighter style or be a trainer, or you can go out there 5 times a month and be getting the shit chopped out of you, falling through tables, going into ring posts, and getting thrown around and working the pro wrestling style or the strong style that he prefers.
Well, I can put it to you this way. I'd rather work that style than work the style of getting a hypodermic needle stabbed through my fucking neck. Like in SoCal was last week.
Wait. Oh, I thought you were talking about Astroworld. But anyway.
Talking about fucking Mr. California and his hardcore.
Let's not put that guy over. Good God.
Who's against vaccinated match?
Yeah. No. But I mean, didn't he work the WWE with that whole concussion deal? Like, he's admitted that. Like, they were treating him shitty. This is at the time that they made him a fucking Wyatt. As big as, and that's another problem that I have with the WWE, right? In its current iteration, where you have a guy that's, I mean, we're telling you, this is, what is it? A people power for fucking Johnny Ace and best for business. When we're fucking buying the merch of a fucking Daniel Bryan in his previous iteration, we're telling you what you want and you don't give it to us, and this guy has to fucking feign an injury to get off fucking TV. Like, that's
the only way the WWE knows how to make baby faces is through their own bullshit booking. That's the only way they know how to do it.
Never forget, Carlito stabbed John Cena in a nightclub.
No, that was hardcore. That was Aaron Aguilera.
That was Jesus.
Jesus. Look. Before we get any further into this, maybe we should talk about the shit show that was Raw. So what we're going to do real quick is take a quick commercial break so we can pay some bills around this bitch. Then we'll be right back. And we'll talk about really awful wrestling, otherwise known as Monday Night Raw.
Drive me insane! All these rules are lame, have been taking all the fun out! Drive me insane! All these rules are lame, have been taking all the fun out! Drive me insane! All these rules...
When you want to get your hair cut, you go get your hair cut right. You head down to Big D's Barbershop. Big D's Barbershop, Vancouver, Washington's best and brightest. 1019 Main Street, Vancouver, Washington, where you can go get your hair lined up, cuts, fades, shampoos, conditions, and all the great things that go with supporting a local barbershop in a local business area. You can also reach them online at www.bigdsbarbershop.com. Go get your haircut right.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Hey,
and we're back.
I got a question for you.
That a spinner belt?
Nope, it's New Fez. The only thing that I acknowledge. God damn it.
You're not acknowledging, so you're not going to acknowledge Roman Reigns as your tribal chief?
Hey, I think we need to put a stipulation in this predictions championship to make Adam acknowledge Roman.
Okay, what is it?
Hey, okay. So look, Kate is our witness. Here are the rules of this predictions warfare.
Okay.
We were going to lay out the whole card for our AEW's Full Gear.
Okay.
Hell, we might even, if you guys want, we can do a fucking watch along. I don't even care. I'm not wrestling this weekend. We'll do a watch along. I wrestle the next weekend. Rules are, if you and Julian always comes up with the tally sheet for us. If you between you and Julian, let's do it between you and Julian. 'Cause I always win. You and Julian.
What are
If Julian wins,
okay?
Julian wins. I want Mr. Woods to shoot a 30-second promo video as to why he will bend the knee and acknowledge Roman Reigns as his tribal chief. But
Okay.
I think
Mr. Julian
I'm down to
loses-
see Adam put on the golden glove.
ooh, if
You
Julian
didn't say who's
loses-
Golden Glove. I'll
wait.
Does Colt
If
Cabana
Julian
have a
loses, if Julian loses, he has to change his Twitter handle. He has to change his handle on the podcast, and that's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Mm-hmm.
To I do not acknowledge that piece of shit Roman Reigns as my tribal chief.
Okay, that actually should be my Twitter handle, which I'm probably gonna. And the stakes aren't high enough for now. I decline. I respectfully decline because it's. I mean, like if there's a piece of shit on the ground, right? And I'm talking not about Joe Anoa'i. I'm talking about Roman Reigns, the character in the presentation, and why Vince has a fucking hard on for that shit. Why fucking Vince thinks that's good shit, pal. Fuck that, right? So that's just like saying, hey, it's not fucking shit. It's a fucking diamond, right? Like the diamond mine. No.
Oh my God,
Give me diamond mine all day. Give me fucking,
That's what Vince said.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, since Kate is the odd person out here because she's not part of this predictions warfare,
Yeah.
let's have Kate come up with the. I
stipulation.
mean, Kate's
Do I
really,
have to do it right
good
now?
at coming up with. Yeah, Kate's really good at coming up with these stipulations, like the
Speaking
whole.
of which, wasn't Bray Wyatt supposed to show up like 5 days ago?
What?
There might be chemical dependencies.
Let's
Chemical-
let
Twitter
Kate
he
think
said
about this.
somewhere in Twitter he said in 2 days. You just mentioned Bray Wyatt.
Let's
I
let
think
Kate.
you just said he was free. I don't think it meant.
Let's
he was
let
coming
Kate
up.
think about the punishment for both of you guys if you guys should lose.
Yeah.
And let's go over this Monday Night Raw, starting with the very first match of the night. Dolph Ziggler, Robert Roode, AJ Styles, and God, he's so big, almost. He's just so big.
Vascular.
They defeated
So-
RK Bro
so-
and the Street Profits.
Conspiracy theory.
Okay.
Okay. He's so big.
I think AJ Styles is injured and
Okay.
has some sort of limited mobility, and that's why he's been working with Omos, and Omos has been doing most of the work.
That could be.
I'm-
What about you, Kate?
Yeah.
Match is fine. I think you have to be really bad at your job if you've figured out a way to make AJ Styles feel like a regular person.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to do with that in their defense because Almost isn't there yet. He needs someone like AJ, right? So
Oh, yeah.
it's tricky because I don't think this is working, but I don't know what you do with Omos otherwise because he's just green because they rushed
so
him,
big.
which is fine. Like you chose to do that, but this angle, I don't know if I want to see AJ in any tag team picture, to be honest. Like he's one of the best wrestlers of all time, and if he's going to be putting people over, I think it should be as a singles competitor. So this is just tricky. When I was talking about handcuffing herself before, this is a great example of that. Like, this isn't working. AJ Styles shouldn't be doing this, but almost needs help. So how do you get out of it? Are you going to do another fucking can you coexist storyline? Because we've seen 9,000 of those. I don't know how you bail yourself out of this, but it's not working for me. I really have always been a Dolph Ziggler mark. I think he's great, and I think Roode is great. That tag team kind of is working for me. If it was booked properly, that would be even better.
Hey, Cheryl, you're absolutely correct. And if this were the if this were the 80s, Omos would be Zeus.
Oh my God.
He was a ninja. He was a doorman. And he was a, what am I forgetting here? Go to the job he had. I mean, they literally could have made him Zeus Jr. If they wanted to.
I mean,
or the son of Zeus.
here's the thing though.
Shit, I said
Like
it out loud.
everything he's done has been like chokeslam, punch. Like when he gave those spin wheel kicks a couple weeks ago, I was like, yeah, that's pretty bad.
I don't
He-
understand why it has to be a tag team. Like, why couldn't he just be a
dominant
muscle that
giant.
interfere? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if it wasn't a tag team proper, I think it would have been a better move.
Well,
And why is he just
was
going
a
after the Street
muscle-
Profits? Have you guys noticed that he's just been beating up the Street Profits like every week for like a month?
Yes.
Like, I don't get it. You know, I mean, I feel bad for Street Profits because they came over from SmackDown. They're like, yeah, we're on Raw. We're going to make it. Oh, no, we're going to get fucking squashed by the almost because he's so big.
Yeah, I don't see anything in Almost that is any deciphering from George Muirstein in the NBA or Giant Gonzalez, you know, or Great Khali. Like he's not special. He's what's this fucking
Great Khali?
Yeah, like what is the fucking? Is he Deacon Devon again? Like what the fuck? What the fuck is Almost? Almost
big.
Edward
That's what
James
he is.
Almost.
He's
So you
big.
think he's great other than being able, other
I
than
think
not being
he's
able
the
to
shit.
walk, talk, or
I
wrestle?
don't
You
know
think
how
he's bare medical?
Almost or the other what is it? The Kunta Kinte guy that debuted at Mania, who's actually Brazilian. Like
Yeah.
I like how are they not cut? But then
Joe
again, it's
Rodriguez?
fucking Vince. It's Vince logic, which I'm kind of done with Vince logic, man.
Yeah. So Dolph Ziggler got the surprise win.
He got
So
the
the
surprise
heels
win,
won the
correct.
match.
How is
I
it a
will say-
surprise?
I mean,
He's great.
I mean, I know he's great, but he got the win.
Again,
I will say that Randy Orton is the MVP of that match because Randy Orton was yelling and screaming at every person. He was directing that match and yelling at everybody.
He was.
Like,
Yeah, he was.
Like you can hear him saying, "Don't fucking do that." Like he literally told Riddle was going to do a spot. He goes, "No, not yet, you fucking idiot." Like I think Randy is getting so tired of this whole thing that he's losing his shit on TV.
Well, which whole thing? The whole RK Bro thing?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I think he's
so
still tired of it.
this may be it. This is Vince's form of mentoring. He has Randy there to rein in Riddle, because hey, I got to give it to him. Riddle broke out an actual MMA move today, and he's done it in the past, but it's sporadic. So, and he has the talent to actually make it look good, but I think he needs someone to control his flow and really give this guy in-ring intelligence to be like, okay, this is where this move goes well, and this is how you can apply it to make it look good without killing somebody, et cetera, et cetera. And possibly they're doing the same thing with AJ Styles and Omos. You know, just, hey, besides being my own personal colossus, I need you to learn how to work a big man style. Unfortunately, there's no big men for him to work against right now. I mean, even when he works against and by big men, I mean someone as tall as him, because he's always going to be towering over somebody. And the minute you let someone who's like 6 inches shorter make him drop to his knee, then also, you know, it kind of blows his whole gimmick. But aside from that, well, we've kind of beat that horse to death. Freaking Robert Roode, he seems lost in the shuffle to me. Like, I know he's there, and I know that he's one half of the Dirty Dogs, but he just kind of.
Yeah, it's because the tag booking has been as bad as regular booking in WWE is. Like, the tag team division is something that consistently gets left in the dust, and I feel like because AEW's tag division is so good, it's almost like they try even less or something. Like that they're like, well, we're never gonna touch that, so why even try?
Well,
but I'm with you. Like, I think he's so great, and I've always loved Ziggler. I think he's wildly versatile. I don't understand what they miss in him, but they just haven't really built out any meaningful tag programs outside of kind of RK Bro.
Here's
Well, whose podcast was it where they said that Vince doesn't like tag teams anyway, because to him it's like paying twice as much money for the same match?
I think it was on Wrestle Talk. But I will say this to you guys. I'm gonna throw a curveball at you guys. I'm gonna really shock the system right here. It is literally, as of today, November 8th, 145 days to WrestleMania.
Well, I mean,
Horrible.
this is always, in my opinion, November and December programming is mostly always bad because
There
everything
won't be
is.
any December shows because
There won't
kinda
be.
do
Yeah,
anything.
TLC is gone, but like, it's never a surprise to me when programming falls off this time because it's almost like you're just buying time until Rumble season and Mania anyway.
Correct.
The problem is when you're dropping off from what you've given us,
Which
and
is
what you've
nothing.
given us is so bad, then it's really going down. And I'm almost glad. I love TLC, so I'm not excited about that, but I'm almost glad there's no December pay-per-view because we get so handicapped by the gimmicked pay-per-views every month. Like, instead of letting matches determine stipulations, it's like you have all these stipulations and now you have to fit a program into it. And like,
Exactly.
we're already seeing that with Survivor Series. They tried the Saudi Arabia show with this and they just completely didn't build a Survivor Series, right? So they need a breather real bad right now. If there's any hope, it's going to be a reset at the new year. But until then, we're just going to keep getting this, right? So,
But weren't we supposed to have a reset when they did the whole draft?
oh, let it
Oh,
play
fuck it.
out.
No.
Let it
Let it
play
play
out.
out.
Yeah, no, okay,
Tell
but
me.
actually going back because so that tag match, right? Here's what we got here. You've got fucking what's his name? Roode lost in the shuffle. You've got Ziggler who gave up on wrestling a long time ago, right? You've got AJ Styles who they didn't fucking want when he got released from Impact, right? And then you got fucking Randy Orton, for better or worse, was the fucking Axl Rose of the WWE. It goes AWOL, right? It goes AWOL from the fucking Marines, and then fucking you don't have to look far to see, Randy's dalliances and fucking backstage etiquette and whatever. And they're the locker room leaders. This is where we are.
I don't have a problem with what happened in the ring as much as I do. There's just no reason to be invested in any of this. Like, for you to have Randy Orton and AJ Styles on my screen and me not to care means you screwed up real bad. Like,
They did it at Nakamura and Styles at Mania, and I was at Julian's house. I was like, what the fuck? I had a fucking conniption.
It's hard. It's the same thing as what's been happening with Kevin Owens. It's like Kevin Owens is one of my favorites, but like if you put him in a million segments with Madcap Moss and Baron Corbin, I can't care because you run this back. So then what I do is I go and I put on ROH and I watch Josh Woods and LSG have an amazing Pure Rules match, which is the funniest
I love Josh.
contrast because Pure Rules is the thing that makes like the most sense. And I saw LSG put in a Muda Lock camel clutch, and I saw him go off the ropes into Josh Woods cravating him, and then him putting his finisher on, but that wasn't enough. So he also put him in a gorilla. Like it's the most easy, beautiful storytelling, and it's because it's Pure Rules. It's the thing that makes the most sense in the world.
Wait, what's that word you used? Storytelling? Oh my god.
Storytelling. Yeah,
Storytelling.
forgotten art.
What's that? What is
but,
that?
but to your point too, like the amount of it's gonna get better after this. It's gonna get better after we're out of the Thunderdome. It's gonna get better with the draft. It's gonna get better. It's gonna get better.
There's only so much
Let
we
it
can let it play out.
Like, I'm still waiting for Retribution to play out, and that was like
ladies
a
and
year and a
gentlemen,
half ago.
Ladies and gentlemen, the ones that are watching this podcast and listening to this podcast on all those beautiful platforms, the term "let it play out" is a term in professional wrestling right now that every podcast, every podcaster, every person in this industry is so fucking tired of hearing. You know why? Because the WWF is saying for years, let it play out. You'll see the storyline. It never fucking happens, ladies and gentlemen.
And I also don't appreciate that WWE now is mocking us. Like on SmackDown, that they said Raw is bad and that they've used can they coexist on NXT. Like, they're now acknowledging that the program is bad and they're making no effort to get better is like insulting to not only the fans but to the talent that you're putting out there to do it.
Cheryl just summed it up for all of us, and now I feel stupid. Cheryl, thank you very much for putting it out there. It's going to get better. It's the longest
fucking storyline. Yep.
Let it play out. That's the longest storyline that WWE has had over the last like fucking 2 years. Speaking of storylines, something that doesn't make any sense. We get Adam Pearce, Scrap Iron Adam Pearce, former NWA World Heavyweight Champion, now authority figure of the WWE, which the WWE doesn't have authority figures anymore because we're the authority figures. Remember that?
Jesus Christ.
He comes out to the ring and he calls out Rey Mysterio and he calls Dominic. Now, Adam Pearce, I love Adam. Adam's been a great guy. I've known Adam for a very long time. Adam Pearce comes out and says, my Raw team, which is weird because he is the commissioner for both Raw and SmackDown, but my Raw team is full of former world champions. And Dominic, you were never a world champion. So I just stopped and I put on Twitter, wasn't Dominic and Ray the Raw World Tag Team Champions?
No, just the Raw Tag Team Champions.
Well, they're still the World Tag Team Champions because SmackDown is supposed to be.
Is
SmackDown.
Raw the world? Is
Yeah.
Intercontinental the rest of the world? Versus, and does it exclude the U.S.?
That's not the point, though. So,
Like Robin Harris said,
WWE
small world.
the WWE wrote this script for them to read, saying that Dominic has never been a champion. When lo and behold, you were just pushing him and Rey Mysterio as being the first father-son World Tag Team Champions. So that made no fucking sense to me. And then, I mean, people on Twitter were like, wait a minute, that didn't make no fucking sense. And then you say, okay, so you're going to defend your spot in this on this team against this guy right here. Now, I guess this is the qualifying match that was made fun of on Twitter earlier today and like all weekend, because now you have your qualifying match. Because now Bobby Lashley, another former world champion, gets a shot at making the team by wrestling Dominic Mysterio. All I posted on Twitter was Dom's dead.
Okay, here's the thing: isn't Dominic in himself as big as a world championship? Didn't Eddie and Ray fight over his custody, right? Like some years ago. And damn it, Vicky! What the fuck is Vicky? So, with that all being said, he is a world champion because he had two world champions fight over him. So I'm just saying.
This match was crazy because Bobby Lashley totally
Not
beat
super
the holy
crazy.
piss.
He's not
He
here.
beat the holy piss out of Dominic Mysterio. It was really bad to the point to where he literally just drew this match out. But the greatest part of this whole match for me was the fact that MVP came out with Bobby Lashley. So that means the Hurt Business is really back in business now.
I hope so. I hope there's a reason that they did this, but I just have very little faith. And I'm really fucking over Dominic Mysterio wearing Ray as a backpack on the way to the ring, like he's not one of the greatest fucking luchadors of all time.
Exactly. That's why I tweeted that to you, and I was like, Dominic Ray is a fucking.
But okay,
they make him look like an 8-year-old. He's one of the best luchadors of all time, and
best
they're making him look
wrestlers
like a
in general.
joke.
Yeah,
One of the best
absolutely.
wrestlers in general. Like he has great, like
yeah, exactly.
And now what the fuck are you gonna do with Dominic Mysterio? Tell me,
Well,
tell
I'll tell you one
tell
thing.
me what you've done with him since they dropped the tag titles that makes me believe that he's more than a guy that like puts on matches sometimes and hangs out. It's just. I watched Bandito and Alex Zane have a great match in ROH. That's what I did during this match.
You know what Dominic Mysterio isn't? He isn't Bandito.
He isn't Bandito.
He isn't
ain't his
Bandito. That's
dad.
for goddamn sure.
He also ain't his dad.
So two things here. Number one, good job that MVP is back. I'm happy to see him because
Yes.
First things first, as the manager of the Hurt Business, I mean, you're Shelton Benjamin. You come to work on Monday, you're like, shit, well, there goes my feud with Bearcat Keith Lee. We just had a stare down on Monday, and now he's gone. What the fuck I do? Anyway, Bobby Lashley, mark my words, they may start a running gimmick where he just chokes the shit out of people's kids.
I knew you were
Oh
going to
my
say
God, I
something.
love
We're
that.
just gonna be putting people's kids in the Hurt Lock and just choking the shit out.
No, I
of them.
love that. I love that.
Dude,
That-
This is all Bill
and that
How do
Goldberg.
you get more
that would be
heelish
so
than that?
great.
Wait, hold
I
This
love
is
on.
all Bill Goldberg. This is all Bill Goldberg's
It
fault.
started with Bill Goldberg's kid.
Goldberg, not even that. Started with his kid. Goldberg is a fucking liar. because in
Wait.
Saudi Arabia, Goldberg
Got that
said
right.
he was going
that
to
right.
kill Bobby
He
Lashley.
did not.
He didn't
Yeah, he
murder
did not.
anybody.
Right.
He murdered some time. That's what that's
And
why he
now-
killed.
Yeah, I know 100%.
And now this child strangler
Child abuser.
is child
Giant
abuser is
strangler.
just
Oh,
he's
yeah, Benoit.
hey man, somebody's
Whoa.
gonna come in the
They're
ring with their
adult
kid.
children.
Yeah.
They're not
Yeah.
children. They're adults. They just
Wait.
happen to be children. Like if he had done this with all of Legacy, when Legacy was a thing, this would be awesome.
Yeah. Well, here's the
Right.
thing: what you guys aren't missing, what you guys are all missing, right? Maybe this is a dig, right? Goldberg's son and Dominic Mysterio, their dig, right? You know how they do digs and called Virgil, fucking Dusty Rhodes' shoot name and whatever, right? So here's the thing: this is them getting back at Dustin and Cody for going to the AEW. That's what this is. Right? This is them not knowing fucking CM Punk was getting married when he gets his pink slip. This is all those shit, man.
I'd have a better time believing it if everything wasn't horrifically booked across the board.
Exactly.
They can't book.
If it was just one fucking thing, I can be like, okay, I can see I can see that. But knowing like the whole shit, like, look, this show is like the Titanic, and it just hit the iceberg, so you know it's going.
But
down.
even that got an Oscar, didn't it?
Yes.
This ain't getting no fucking Oscar.
No.
Gutierrez.
No, we didn't get.
Bad.
shoot.
It's bad.
So look, and the best match on the show, in my opinion,
It's 21
this
minutes.
is the best match on the show, in my opinion, ladies and gentlemen. Big E Langston, Big E, your WWE champion. He wasn't too big. Dude. I mean, I really wish him and Otis would have got into it because I would have loved to see two big meaty men slapping meat.
Big meaty men slapping meat.
That
That's
just
what we're
doesn't
here
sound
for.
right. But that's what you're here for. God damn it.
Yeah, I can say it. It's a little easier.
But yeah, it's better if you say it than I do. But Big E versus fucking Chad Gable. Look, ladies and gentlemen, I need more Chad Gable in my life.
Yes.
I need
In
more fucking
AEW.
Chad Gable in my life. I don't give a shit about Otis's big ass. Fuck the Alpha Academy. I need Chad fucking Gable in my life.
It's Otis time. It's Otis time.
Yeah.
Chad
Otis
Gable,
time.
Chad Gable is the best fucking. He's one of the best wrestlers in the world.
Yes,
And
he
to
is.
have him and Big E have that match tonight, he's getting better on the mic. He's sounding to me, and I'm just gonna throw it out there. Chad Gable right now sounds like a young Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
I can see that for sure.
The whole
He's great.
gimmick, he is amazing. If he'd have pulled his fucking straps down and fucking did the whole, Kurt Angle fucking,
Twirl
yes, I
around.
did it. I would have just been like, I'm done. See you later. That'd have been it for me.
Some wrestlers who I actually kind of like him and Otis. If they had been booked properly, I think they could have been a really great tag team.
It could have been another Benjamin and Haas.
Yeah, they could. Well, and I think about like what's going on in Diamond Mine and the Creed brothers, and I feel like they could use him in that because they're really good in the ring. They're just green, but they know how to wrestle, and they have the same like amateur background. And with Malcolm Bivens already being a mouthpiece, I think that would be such a great combination. But I don't know what anything looks like anymore as far as a relationship with NXT. So them not getting called up yet is a good thing because they're brand new and hopefully going to be a centerpiece of NXT. But I think Gable would be such a great partner for that. Or I would like to see. I think I would just like to see Gable as a single star. They won't do it in WWE because of his height, I don't think. But could you imagine him and Ziggler in a program? Imagine him and Ziggler in a program. Oh, such good stuff.
Gable
he's great.
as
Right.
And Kate, I need to tell you this right now.
Gable is your Harley Race. Otis is your Vader.
I need to tell you this right now. Cassidy Haynes, the owner and proprietor of BodySlam.net, has put you over so fucking good right now.
Oh,
He's been texting me this whole time.
I love Cass.
Kate is great. Literally one of the only people I talk to every day.
Yeah, we
She's
talk
fucking
about
great.
that. I love Cass. Oh,
Cass
thank
just
you,
put you over.
Cass. He's the best.
Watch this.
Are you sending him a dick pic?
Yep. That's it.
No. So Kat, I was about to tell you that Kate just that said you were great, but then she asked me if I was sending you a dick pic. So
Player,
I'm
hold
not
your
gonna do that.
phone.
So
I don't know
maybe
what's
not.
going on. I don't know what's going on. I sent him pictures of leaves because I told him like I'm a white girl and I love my foliage. And so
Well,
today I just sent him a picture that was like
I'm
foliage.
not.
I'm gonna start sending you pictures of the leaves in front of my house now because
It's
they
a
look so
joke,
beautiful.
It's basic bitch season, man.
bitch-
Come on. Got like 2 more weeks of this.
Oh
Let's
my
fucking
god!
go.
I'm about to send you a pumpkin spice latte.
I'll take it.
Shoot you some UGG boots.
Listen, there are some things that are basic and incredibly stupid, but there are some things that everybody likes that are basic because they're great. Pumpkin spice lattes are delicious, and Uggs are very warm and comfortable.
Oh my god!
I'll take
See, this is why Kate's a fucking heel. This
There
is
it
why.
is.
No one wants to wear
There it
Uggs but Kate. So
Britney Spears when she was attacking people in umbrellas and shaving her head bald.
Anyway, Big E, Chad Gable. I'm gonna give that fucking 5 stars, man.
That's
In the
great.
Tokyo Dome.
And you know what?
In
And
the
if you were-
Tokyo Dome.
my dream click right now. If you want to put together like a super fucking group, you put Chad Gable. You put Bronson Steiner. I'm not gonna say Braun Breaker because I'm not gonna do that shit.
Rex Steiner.
You put those two together. Maybe you throw in the Diamond Mine guys. Like one fucking solid group of guys. Maybe you throw in Dolph Ziggler. Because these are all pure wrestlers. Dolph Ziggler is a fucking he's like an amateur state champion more
Yeah,
times
but
over.
You can
Like,
say
he-
that, but fucking Riddle will whoop his ass anytime.
I don't know, bro. I don't know. I think him and Riddle, they were shooting each other in that tag match, and they were holding their own. They made that tag match look fucking
Yeah,
great.
They look really
They
good.
should have done it in fucking Raw Underground. Because it's still real to me, damn it.
It's still real to you.
Because again,
Um,
why do you have the fucking badasses over here and then the last segment you got fucking Retribution? Why don't you take fucking the badasses from fucking segment 3 to fight the motherfuckers who's ripping your shit up? I don't know.
Because Omos was literally the gatekeeper.
And then to go from good wrestling, great wrestling between Big E and Chad Gable, to Reginald's defense of the 24/7 title in an actual one-on-one match.
Who the fuck is Reginald?
Reginald is your 24/7 champion. He defended the title
No,
against
but
Drake
who
Maverick.
is he?
Hold on.
He's a Cirque du Soleil
He
dude.
was the
Oh,
wine
okay,
guy.
okay.
Let me put it this way. He was a sommelier. Drake Maverick beats him.
Wait,
Akira
I thought
Tozawa
Drake
beats-
was fucking
Hold
Future
on.
Endeavored.
So he beat Drake Maverick, beats him for the title. Akira Tozawa beats Drake. Corey Graves beats Tozawa. Byron Saxton beats beats Graves. Maverick beats Saxon. Reggie does some weird fucking like it was awesome though the little flip he did, the little corkscrew crossbody to win the championship back, and then runs away. He literally does a flip over the top rope, another touches the ground. He basically, I want to see this match. You know what? I'm just gonna put it out here, putting it on the ether. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm putting it out here on Monday Night Raw's Raw review here at BySlam.net. Putting it out. I want to see Reggie defend the 24/7 title against Ricochet.
Yes. 100%.
Because if you want to see some fucking flipping shit, let's see him versus Ricochet. 1-on-1. None of that fucking 24/7 rules bullshit. Just a
Correct.
legit match. Let's see that.
Okay, so I like that. I also like the idea of him versus Morrison because it's all parkour stuff.
Ooh, that'd be good too.
No,
But,
he's in the
like,
back. He's in
Figure
the
out
back, he's being
something else to do with the 24/7 title because it's just been like jobbers chasing this around for the
Yep.
longest time. But also it being defended in a one-on-one ring situation doesn't seem to work. And it doesn't mean anything. So either figure out something good to do with it or take it away. Reggie, very
They would
impressive.
literally
on
have to rename it.
They would,
Television
which
title.
is like, just take it away. Just have a match between Reggie and
It does.
Ricochet without a dumb title that doesn't mean anything.
I would like to see that. I would like to see that.
That would be. I would sign up for that. Sure.
Yeah.
It wouldn't feel like a waste of time, like most of this.
Yeah, because this
Was it-
24/7 bullshit was dumb. The fact
But
that
it
Byron
was-
Saxon
it was
won the
the hardcore
championship, I
title
can't
when they
stand
were
his
pinning
ass.
people in their sleep or while taking a nap, right?
Yeah.
The most consequential thing that has happened with the 24/7 title was a negative thing, and it was that Ember Moon got hurt and tore her Achilles and didn't know if she was going to be able to come back to
chasing
wrestling
after
again.
the fucking belts. That's
Chasing
right.
after the
Yeah.
24/7 title. Nothing else has had any sort of consequence or meaning with this belt.
Exactly. And
Now,
it's
in the
shit.
long-
It's ugly.
In the second longest match on the show, the 5-way women's match, Liv Morgan, Carmella, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, and the Queen herself, Zelina Vega. Okay, so everyone had a good little. There was a good sequence of
except for real quick, for being one half of the women's tag team champions, and having been a former women's champion, and also allegedly being pushed to be like the next generation of the women's revolution, they cut away the camera from her in-ring entrance.
Oh
Yeah.
yes.
From Rhea Ripley.
Well, it's Kevin Dunn, Mr.
Of
5,000
course, he's
camera
great, and he has amazing teeth and a wonderful demeanor.
Yeah, but anyway, I that just really stood out to me.
Yeah.
As disrespectful, but I digress.
No, that's a really
they
good
had
point.
Becky Lynch out there, and Becky was putting everybody over, and you knew Liv Morgan was winning because Becky put everybody over, and she singled out Liv Morgan continuously. She's not going to do this. She's not going to do this. I'm like, you're giving away the end of the match. You're giving away the finish because you're telling us who's going to win by saying who doesn't have anything. She
And
said Liv
Carmella
Morgan. She says
her-
Carmella was the first the first 2-time Miss Money in the Bank because she won the Money in the Bank twice. Bianca Belair is the future of the WWE. She said Rhea Ripley, one half of the former Raw Women's Champion, the Raw the Unified or whatever fucking tag team, women's tag
You
team
can't
champion,
even
the
remember
first
what the-
ever. Then she said the NXT UK champion and NXT Women's Champion. Like she was putting everybody over. She's like, even Zelina Vega is the Queen of the Ring, putting everybody over. And then she was like, but Liv Morgan has never done anything. Her friends left.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, she's referencing people leaving leaving the business, leaving the WWE. She's like, her friends left. And I'm like, okay, so Liv is winning.
Which
Yeah,
is tacky, right? It's tacky.
It is.
I don't know though, because is it tacky? Probably, but it's also that is how everybody does commentary at WWE. So like as far as that goes, at least she was. I have not been a fan of this heel Becky run. I think when you are intelligent in this landscape, and this is a point that I think Robert DeFelice has made at Fightful, and I've made several times since because he's right. If you are intelligent, even as a heel, it's going to get cheered by an audience.
Yeah.
Especially right now. That's why Stone Cold didn't work as a heel, right? Like for the same reason that if you're pointing out things that are smart, that's going to be something that gets cheered, which is why her heel run hasn't worked for me. This I liked because there's so much ambiguity around who's important and who's not in the women's division right now.
Correct.
And for her to take the time to put everybody over, even though she's a heel, is something that's really important. Was it absolutely telegraphing Liv's win? Sure. Did I think Liv was going to win anyway because of the segments that we saw backstage with her? Yeah, like last week. So I kind of, this was predictable to me already, but I think it was commentary telegraphs all the time anyway. But I think that it was almost necessary to have some sort of contrast for Liv with the rest of these people so that like it made Becky's story that she's going to tell with Liv real. Like if you had to point out that Liv had nothing because it's something that's going to differentiate her. It makes her super over in this situation because she doesn't have accolades and Becky's going to take that victory lap as a heel. So not the best situation for this in a vacuum, but like we're trying to build, somebody in this company is at least trying to build a story, and I appreciate that from Becky.
I'm not going to hit you like Sean Ross Sapp did you with the whole vacuum thing.
Oh my god! I said this match in a vacuum, and he was like, "I thought it was in a wrestling ring."
Was it a Dyson?
Worst.
Oh my god!
I don't know how
You guys are very funny. You guys make my day. I tell you that.
Oh, thank you. And he makes my day too. He makes co-hosting extremely easy, as do as does everybody that I do podcasts with. Actually, I'm very blessed in that regard.
Well,
There are
well,
people
thank
I
you very
would
much.
not
Thank you
do
for the
what.
compliment.
I wouldn't come back here. Listen, I've done some that I'm not going back to. All right,
Ooh.
I
I'm
bet.
not telling you who, but I've done podcasts that I ain't going back
Oh,
to.
shit.
Wait, who? Like Jim the Anvil
That's an
Neidhart?
off the air conversation right there, ladies and gentlemen.
That is
So with the women's match, Liv Morgan finally wins the match, and it was really good. The thing that really got me, it kind of made me laugh a little bit, was she got out of the ring and they're still talking, they're talking, and she walks over and she gets up on the table, and Becky is looking at her, she's looking at Becky, and Becky holds the belt up, and they're like face to face, and then Becky steps back. And legit, the camera panned away because she almost fell off the fucking table.
Wow. Wow. That makes
And Corey Graves put his hand up to help her down, and the camera panned away, so you didn't see that. I was like, "Oh shit, she's about to fall." But the one thing that, and Omar just said it right here, the one thing that kind of caught my attention is that backstage promo they did with Dewdrop and all of them arguing backstage. Dana Brooke was really pissed. Like,
I thought she got released too.
That's what I'm saying. She just sat there like, dude, like I could have got released.
Yeah.
I still ain't doing shit, you know?
Yeah, epiphanies are a motherfucker, aren't they?
Because
And
there was a
her
report. There was a
fiance
report that
just
she was
beat the
gonna
shit
get
out of
pushed.
somebody today.
Oh yeah, because he's an MMA guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
well,
he,
and like somebody was threatening them. Like he didn't just do it for fun. Somebody was
Yeah.
threatening them, and he beat the shit out of them.
she well, what am I? She literally was in line to get a push, from what I understand.
Well,
And
and she was
doing
a
like,
part of a tag team, and they
well, I mean, no,
put
she
her-
was doing like she was going to get a singles push. Like they were going to make a triple threat match for her. She was going to be part of a triple threat match for the title. It was going to be I think it was going to be Liv versus Dana Brooke versus Becky, and they were talking about doing some house shows. And that was a report as of Monday of last week. And then all of a sudden, people start getting fired and released. And now she's sitting backstage, just pissed off. So hey, at least you still have a job, Dana. At least you still have a job. Think about that.
Yes.
So then we go. And the whole Dewdrop thing. Here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. People were complaining because Dewdrop's a heel. She was a heel the whole fucking time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean.
She was an assistant heel.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, though, and just like you were saying about Becky, I call that the Hall and Nash syndrome.
Wait.
The reason why I call it the Hall and Nash syndrome is this: Kevin Nash and Scott Hall showed up at WCW. They showed up on Monday Night on Monday Night Raw or Nitro, and the NWO commenced to beating the fuck out of the whole roster. We're talking 3 dudes beat up the whole entire roster to the point where they lawn darted Rey Mysterio onto the side of a mobile home. Fans cheered them.
Yeah.
Fans cheered them. They were so happy. They come out and they beat up all of these big names. They beat up all these guys, and the fans are still cheering them.
Yep.
No matter what they did, the fans cheered them. They literally can go out and set people on fire, and they'd be like, "Oh, hey, they did it! They did it!" Becky has that same type of heat. Steve Austin had that same type of heat. And now.
Did
Yeah,
they run
everybody
the
keeps
final
cheering
up
for her,
her?
dude.
Yeah.
Everybody
gonna
keeps
boot-
cheering for her, no matter what she does.
Even she said it. She was like, and you guys are all like, she was working so hard to make people think that she's the bad guy. Like she was like agreeing with Corey Graves and talking shit to Saxton, and she was like, "Oh, I bet you used to cheer for me too, didn't you, Saxton?" Like it's not working. It's not working.
It's
and this
really
whole
not.
Dewdrop thing.
No.
Like they got her out there as a heel. She pulls out Bianca Belair, but quite honestly, and it's just me being a heel because I'm a heel in this group, just like Kate is. Kate's trying to be the baby face here, but it ain't working. She made sense, and that's the thing about heels. When a heel makes sense, when a heel is being real with you, that's what Dewdrop turned on Eva Marie, and she was cheered. Of course, she was cheered because she was being treated like a slave, and then she did her thing, and now she's a face. But you try to turn her heel, and it still makes no sense because what she said to Bianca Belair, you've had so many chances to win the championship, yet you keep losing, but now you're getting opportunities again.
Yep.
Why should you keep getting these opportunities? I should get this opportunity.
That goes back to my earlier point that the only way to make stuff feel real and make sense on the show is to point out how bad the creative's been. Like, it really is. Dewdrop is in my opinion, especially if you give her a name like
I'm gonna start calling that Piper Niven. Fuck that Dewdrop.
Piper Niven.
Yeah, 100%.
Piper fucking Niven. She's just, to me, you send her out there with the look that she has and the music that she has and this big smile on her face. She's a face. Like, you just were booking her poorly as a face, but she's wildly likable. Like, I don't understand why you, at a time when you desperately need face women on this roster too. Like, that was part of it with Becky, is like, you have the most beloved woman finally come back, and everybody is like pinning that booking is going to get better when she returns because she's made them a lot of money. And then you have her come back as a heel and to no payoff because Bianca just does keep losing, right? So you haven't garnered any sympathy. Like with Piper, it's almost the same thing. It's like people are too aware that people are already rooting for her because they gave her this dumb name and Eva Marie sucked in the ring. I'm sorry. Like, I get it that she had a presence about her or whatever, but it's like when you've already created these circumstances that people are rooting for you and you go against it as hard as they have, that just doesn't work because like you have a likable personality and all these circumstances where you're genuinely rooting for this person. Like, to do that as a heel is just not, I feel like the best heel builds in general, other than like an MJF or whatever. In general, the best heels are made with some sort of turn, with some sort of moment that you're able to point to.
Exactly.
They're naturally a face, and then there's something that happens where their mentality shifts, right? So to introduce someone as a heel, unless they're incredibly heel-ish or just very naturally that way, I think it doesn't work. And Piper Niven definitely falls into the category of I'm likable off the bat, and you're going to have a moment that turns me. And Eva Marie was the heel in that situation the whole time. So this isn't enough to make her heel. Like, just going up against a face that loses all the fucking time.
Exactly.
What does she get out of it? She didn't get shit out of it. You know, like it's usually like you put a established heel against a face, or even a established face against a heel, and one of you guys are going to be elevating the other. But if you're putting me, it's like shooting a promo. You know, I beat you every time we get in the ring, Julian, and you know, this week I'm going to go out there and guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to beat you again, and then I'm going to beat you again, and then I'm going to beat you again. So when I beat you, what did I do? I didn't. What have I achieved? Nothing, because I've already beaten you 10 fucking times.
Yeah.
Which is what they were trying to do with Nia and Lana, weren't they? And now they're both released. So what the fuck was that?
Yeah, well,
yeah,
it was tables 9, Lana 1. So yeah.
Okay, so what? My philosophical question to all of you: what does the WWE have to do for you guys all individually to say "fuck it, I'm done"? Because for me, it's NXT UK, and once that was the only thing that I was watching, and then I was like, I had this epiphany where I was like, oh, if Vince or Nick Khan finds this shit on the docket, they're gonna fucking release the entire roster. So I started to not give a shit, and I haven't watched it in probably about 2 months. So with that all being said, what would it take for you guys to be, I'm done?
The second Sean Ross Sapp stops paying me.
Okay.
I'm done.
10
That's
points. I like
That's
it.
completely it. And part of it is because I have so many alternatives that I just like better. I mean, I really liked ROH before. Now we have no idea, but like I loved their presentation.
Danhausen.
I loved so much about what they were doing. I felt like they were the closest thing to the initial NXT that we had, and like that it felt very sports based. I like the pure division. I like having something with Gresham. Unbelievable what he's done with this company. I like having something silly like your Danhausens and your Dalton Castles, and I love Shane Taylor Promotions and the way they were doing the 6-man belts. Like I loved a lot of what they were able to do in an hour of time. Mm-hmm. I really like AEW. I really like New Japan. There's so many alternatives of things that I like better that feel more targeted to my type of wrestling that I like to watch. So part of the reason I would just set WWE aside is I have this wealth of other stuff that I can't even fucking keep up on.
Right.
So if it was the only game in town, I'd probably still try and hang in there and watch the turnaround. But if you're asking what it would take for me to hang up my cleats on this right now, it's the second I don't get paid to do this, because it has felt like a waste of time, because I just get punished for having faith in this company.
Exactly.
For me, I think I'm as someone that's been in this business 29 long years, I've watched a lot of shit. I've literally been under contract at WWE. I've worked with 95% of the people that work there now. So,
Are they
my
drunk?
opinion,
Are they all drunk?
in my opinion, the one thing that will make me totally be done with WWE is Vince McMahon's lack of respect for the people that paved the way. For you to take someone's name and you shit on them and give them stupid names like Braun Breaker and Von Wagner, and to pretend like these people didn't have a life before they came to you. You know, guys like AJ Styles came in from Japan. You know, and you can't fuck that up. You can't fuck that up because people already know who AJ Styles is. You know, you can't be like, oh, his name is John Walker. No, motherfucker, everybody knows that's AJ Styles. You know what I'm saying?
They didn't pick him up.
But the point I'm trying to make is the moment you take like legacy and you just flush it down the toilet.
They did.
Everyone knows that Randy Orton. Everyone knows that Randy Orton is Bob Orton's son. Everyone knows that.
Do they?
You know, but even when Kurt Hennig came in there, they didn't change his name to like something else. But then they took Larry Hennig,
Mr. Perfect.
Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig. People knew that. But then you take his son and you name him, Curtis Axel or some stupid shit. You take Wyndham Rotunda instead of saying he's Mike Rotunda's son, or then like you got these third generation superstars and you just like.
I don't think he wanted to be Mike Rotunda's son though. You're
shitting on a legend of like you're shitting on a legend. You're shitting on a legend. You're shitting on the history of professional wrestling. So if they keep continuing to do that, then I'm done, man. I can't continue to watch this shit. You're taking these great talents and you're flushing them down the toilet. You know what I mean? It's like they slapped Dusty. It's like they're spitting Dusty Rhodes' face.
Did they
spit in Roddy Piper's face?
Did they do that?
I'm just saying.
Literally?
I'm just saying in general, like that's what they're doing. And it's getting to the point where like you gotta get so tired of it. And Vince McMahon treats wrestling fans like they're fucking stupid. Like,
right?
Hey, like we don't know what happened 6 months ago, or 2 years ago, or 3 years ago. We're stupid. Remember, we don't know that. And
or from brand to brand, like when they started not acknowledging what was happening in NXT on Raw and SmackDown.
Correct.
Like that's insane.
It's like you're so disrespectful. They're gonna take Adam Cole. They built Adam Cole up to be this fucking amazing, like superstar in NXT. You're gonna bring him up to the Raw roster. You're gonna make him a fucking a manager, and you're gonna shave his head and give him a stupid fucking name. You take Keith Lee, who has made his name like around the world. And imagine having Keith Lee and Shane Taylor back together.
Oh my god!
Can you imagine that fucking team? They were fucking beasts back then. I ran into those guys in Texas. I know those guys were fucking off the. They were off the chain.
The fact that happened like in the same week of each other too, I was like, oh my god, get them back together, make them pretty.
Please come back. I should text Shane right now. I'm like, bro, just one time for me. I'll book you guys both at BCW. Just do it one fucking time. But like to pretend like people don't exist, like they didn't have a life before WWE, to take their legacy and just like flush it down the toilet. Like, come on, man. Guys work so fucking hard. Look, there's a promotion here in Oregon. I found this out today.
Okay.
I got fired from a company that I didn't work for.
Ooh, that's always interesting to find out about yourself.
Isn't that getting are you Craig from Friday? You get fired on your day off?
Basically what it boils down to is I decided to take bookings that were going to make money as opposed to doing a birthday party booking. So you're going to pay me X amount of money here, and I made 3 times the amount of money here. I mean, you know, if you say, "Hey, I'll give you $25 to do this," and then someone says, "I'll give you $150 to do this," you're gonna do the $150 job instead of the $25 job, right?
Not if you're the WWE
Same principle, but the fact that
Victoria principle.
you get guys and you bring them into the WWE, you promise them the world, and you don't deliver on anything. You make them change their names, their style of wrestling, you move guys to Florida, and then you fucking, like I have a bunch of friends that just went to Florida, moved to Florida, work for the WWE just to get released. Can you imagine packing your whole life? Adam, think about this, Adam. You and your kids and your wife, you literally pack up your whole house and you drive from California to Florida for 2 weeks, and then they say, "Sorry, Adam, budget cuts.
Yeah,
we made $500 billion this week, but we're broke, so you gotta go."
Oh, what about the gal that they released with the mask and the whatever? Like, she's probably not. She's gonna sell everything because she no longer. They released her right before her fucking visa. Yeah, her visa fucking thing. So, and again, this is supposed
within a month of her getting her visa renewed.
Right, and this is the same place that told you, "Hey, we didn't know that we were firing CM Punk on his wedding day.
Oh, of course,
my bad." Right? I
just overnighted the papers.
Right. Yeah. Well, you know what the other thing about it is, right? Like, who's worse, Sting and his $1 million a year deal with Impact, right, and milking the system, or Randy Orton knowing it's shit, but he's there for the paycheck?
I don't know. I don't know. I have a feeling that Orton is kind of. I think he likes RK Bro, to be honest. I think it seems like he's having fun.
Gets a kick out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, and Randy, I feel like you can read more than anybody. Like, I think he's doing all right on this run.
Yeah.
And I think Cena being away mostly gives him an alley that he never had before, because it was just always going to be Orton's the heel because Cena's the face, and those are the guys who we're putting our anchors to. So I think this might be a good thing for Orton. But I get what you're saying of, there's people who are happy to just collect their paychecks and go home, and good for them, because it seems like if you care, you get punished, which is why I think we've seen passion wane from the Kevin Owenses in the world, who had a great match tonight.
Speaking of that, Kevin Owens, the main event, Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins. I gotta tell you, if KO is leaving WWE, he's going out on his own terms, because he came out and like I don't know if they're trying to turn him heel or what, but at the end of the night, he beat the shit out of Big E. So that's his next. That's Big E's next feud with KO. But I gotta say, like, the match was awesome.
Yeah.
Like, they came out and they went at it. Like, it was like they went through the commercial break right from the gate, and it just they did it. But here's my thing about feuds. I had a match against Gregor Petrov this last Saturday, and he's the television champion and the North American champion. We went to the ring and we just started brawling. We fought all over the fucking building because we have a feud. We have heat. So we just brawled all over the fucking building. It was like a big fight. So we didn't go to commercial break and then come back and then get in the ring and then lock up. Okay. I hate you so much that when we get in the ring, we're going to lock up. No. I'm tired of seeing that in professional wrestling. But, it happened. And
I just pulled up a Kevin Owens tweet that said, "I really don't know what to say other than thank you all for your continued support and kind words. It really means a lot to me. The day I stop giving it my absolute all in the ring is the day that I walk away, not a second sooner." That was about his match a couple weeks ago with Mysterio, and I forget who else was in it. But it was fantastic. And that guy, because he takes pride in his work and I think believes it's an art form, he's like a big dude that'll just do everything Jeff Hardy wanted to do. Like, he doesn't give a shit. He has no regard for his own well-being, sometimes to a scary point. But he's so good at every facet of this. As a heel, as a face, he's great in the ring. There was no doubt in my mind that Tyler Black versus Kevin Steen was going to be a great match at any point.
Thank you for saying that, because that's a Ring of Honor match right there.
No matter what circumstances you put it under, no matter what ring you put it on, those are two great great sports entertainers, great professional wrestlers. They're two of the best, in my opinion, who are able to bridge the gap between what WWE is doing and pro wrestling. They're two of the ones that can play to this the best. And for some reason, they don't put titles on Kevin Owens. Sometimes you get too good at it and you don't need a title. But I think he deserves title runs. He's absolutely one of my favorites. I hope he goes to AEW, but I don't expect for a second that he would go out on any note that indicates that he is ungrateful to be getting in the ring and do what he loves to do, no matter where that is. That just seems like the kind of person that he is, and that's probably what I love about him. But between it seems like they have this habit of giving people a creative push right before their contracts are up right now because they know. Yeah, and I don't think Kevin Owens is that stupid. I think he knows he was in a feud with Madcap Moss and Happy Corbin, and I think he sees the handwriting on the wall as far as what could be coming down the pike. And there's just what's fun, whether you like it or whether you're into the idea of acknowledging wrestling in a different ecosystem or not, meaning WWE doesn't acknowledge that other wrestling has ever existed outside of themselves, basically. And AEW does that because the company was founded out of that, basically, right? Was founded out of ROH and New Japan and these things. So whether you like that or not, I think wrestlers do. I think Adam Cole likes walking in there having a history with the guys that he's currently in a storyline with. And I think Kevin Owens would also appreciate that. So that's something that I do appreciate. I think it's insulting when you pretend that other wrestling doesn't exist. But whether you do or not, it certainly seems like the wrestlers do. And Kevin Owens has history with a lot of the guys that are waiting in AEW. So I think part of it is the reason Kevin Owens could make a jump to AEW isn't just that he's disgruntled with how poorly he's been treated in WWE. I think there's a lot of satiating feuds waiting for him in AEW, a lighter work schedule, which is something that I think he would value because he's very much about going to the zoo with his family. If you follow any of his social media and hanging out with his cats. So even if they are making this last minute attempt to try and keep Kevin Owens around, I think A, the damage might have already been done, and B, there's just a lot of excitement waiting for him at another place. And I know AEW is getting crowded. That's a guy you don't pass up on.
Right.
I could see them having to maybe say no to a Gargano, which would suck because I think he could do great things there. A Kevin Owens is someone that I think you just, more than I would say even a Bray Wyatt, I think he's the guy that if people asked me when AEW was starting who I would take from WWE, his name was always my guy, like as the male versus the female, like who's the one guy. It was like Kevin Owens or sometimes AJ Styles, maybe Cesaro, but like I think it was always kind of KO because I just felt like of the way he operates and the way AEW operates, like they're a match made in heaven. So selfishly, I hope he goes there because I like that product better. But this match was great. I wish they hadn't attached the finish that they did to it, because you could tell the same story with a clean win and a loss. Like, it just is unnecessary to go out of your way. What he did after that little sneaky sneak, I think is great. And, not my favorite booking, but if we weren't exhausted on these type of finishes, this is like at least an appropriate place to kind of work in it. And like, it's not terrible, but I'm just so burnt out on seeing this week after week after week after week.
Well, that's Raw, baby. That's Raw. You're gonna see the same shit week after week after week after week with nothing new.
Yeah,
which really gets me crazy because it's like you got so much good shit that can happen, yet you keep putting on the same tired, beat down, broken shit.
Because you got the same people.
Yeah, and even less
rematches though. Like there were at least some fresh. Today there were at least some fresh. I don't want to say feuds because they're not feuds yet, but like we have been seeing rematches. Yeah, and it's just with the same bad booking or distraction finishes, so that's frustrating, but it's at least new people facing each other. That is one thing that I think is good about the draft, at least, is that it's forced fresh matchups. Like we haven't seen Big E and Kevin Owens before.
Or the fact that they released a bunch of motherfuckers that they could have rematches on You know, so like that's one easy. You don't want rematches? Let's fucking fire.
Half the people.
Yeah, 100%. Jesus Christ.
Well, you know what? I always say Kate is the biggest heel I know on the internet.
Bearcat.
But I'm gonna say the biggest heel on the internet right now is Vince McMahon. No, it's Nick Khan. Nick Khan is wrestling's version of Thanos because he comes to work and he just does this, and jobs are gone just like that.
Well, he was Ariel Helwani's fucking a PR person, and for those who know, MMA, like Ariel Helwani is probably the scummiest motherfucker ever, right? So like. You know, it's what did Jim Cornette say about like the Billy Corgan buying the NWA? It's like everybody in the rock community hates fucking Billy Corgan, but how the fuck do you have to shit on your business to make that guy a babyface in the wrestling community of all things? Like that's what we have here. So like, my question, I
don't know about that though. I feel like Nick Khan is doing the job that he was hired to do.
100%.
It's just a shitty job to step into.
Which I want to know, when is WWE getting sold? After Mania? I'm going to go on record after Mania. Because UFC did the same thing. UFC 200, right? They had a fucking piss yellow fucking canvas. They had fucking Brock Lesnar look like fucking Goro, you know, with 2 arms rather than fucking 6, you know, for UFC 200, and he gets popped for a fucking steroid trial because why not? Look at that fucking guy. And then within 24 hours of their biggest event ever, guess what? They fucking sell to WME. So, and that's the thing. They kind of mirror each other. So I say after Mania, you boost up the fucking, the conference, whatever, and then you sell everything pennies on dollar, whoever still has stock in the WWE at this point, and you merge it into NBC Universal or fucking Disney.
Well, hopefully it's better than what the merger with Peacock is doing, because that has not been functioning.
Yeah.
Well, that's NBC/NBC Universal. So
there you go.
That's where it's going.
I just seen the cutest thing on Twitter right now. Liv Morgan ran into Ruby Soho at the airport.
I saw that. It's so precious.
What happened?
Liv Morgan and Ruby Soho crossed paths at the airport and like didn't know each other were gonna be there. That's
it's so
cute. It's pretty precious.
Yeah, it just made me tear up a little bit. Something like that one time.
I'm a heel. Stop.
Said that one time Julian went to the Virgin Islands and was sending me pictures, and then I was in Texas.
Party Ram.
Oh man.
Whoa, shit. Bret Hart has a fucking rum? Yo.
Yes. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we all know Monday Night Raw. I'll go ahead and give that I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5.
What?
Oh, you're being generous tonight.
You know, I'm being generous because Kate's on the show, and I feel bad for her
Bobby
because
Lashley choked out a kid.
I feel bad for Kate because she has to watch NXT 2.0 tomorrow, and
that's not a bad thing.
It's pretty bad.
I get to have so much fun though after.
You guys do. I'm jealous. I want to come on the show. You guys have so much fucking fun. Like
we have so much fun.
You know, it's funny because I was telling my daughter about you the other day. We were driving the car and she was making fun of something. She was like, "Yeah, Dad, remember that stupid show I used to watch, Yo Gabba Gabba?" And I was like, "As a matter of fact." So I put the video on in the car, and she was like, "My daughter's 13. She's like, why the hell is she wearing that mask?"
I was Yo Gabba Gabba Ghoul for Tony D'Angelo for Halloween.
I was like,
"Oh, okay."
Funny. Yeah, my daughter thought it was hilarious.
Real gross that I had meat on a mask.
Was it real beef?
Yeah, I'm authentic. All right. I
thought I heard you say that to
Gabagool
Sean Ross Sapp. You were like, I fucking put meat on my face, and I was like,
super glued.
It might have been Beyond.
No, it was real. I went out of my way because I had salami, and I was like, no, I'm getting Gabagool. I'm getting the real stuff. Because you know how the internet is. People will call me out for that shit. Yeah. So I super glued it on to like a wooden mask that I got at Michael's for all of the Fightful Faithful to be Yo Gabba Gabba Ghoul.
Yeah, she did it, bro. She did it.
I really did. It smelled so bad. It was so
Oh my
gross.
god.
I can imagine.
Yeah, I was
Oh my
like,
God.
it was on a popsicle stick, so I was at least able to take it down. Especially
there.
because that show we.
I was laughing so hard. I had to donate money to that show. I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and donate $5 to this show.
I appreciate it to cover the costs of our costuming.
I'm like, she went all
We
out
have
with
a
that
blast,
mask.
though. I'm so unbelievably lucky to have. What my trajectory there was. I did my first show with Sean on Friday for the AEW SmackDown and Rampage show, and Alex was like, I think I need her energy because he was doing it solo at the time. And so he got me promoted in my first week, which I was just thankful for in general. But to do something with such a specific voice and personality after NXT 2.0, like, we just have such a blast over there, and he makes being a co-host so easy. Half the time I'm just laughing at what he's doing. I don't really have to.
You guys are funny, man. Like I made a comment. I was like, shout out to Top Heel Kate, and yeah, the other guy's kind of funny too. The other guy's kind of funny too.
Yo, my parents super chat. That was hilarious.
That's so funny. Her parents are always super chatting. It's fucking hilarious, man.
And they don't watch wrestling, to clarify. They've never voluntarily watched wrestling in their life, but they watch their daughter's post shows because they're saints.
Aww.
They're cute.
Oh,
That's pretty baby face though. Don't tell the internet. I'm a heel again.
I will say I did watch one episode of NXT 2.0.
I'm sorry. Was it Halloween Havoc?
It was Halloween Havoc actually.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I think me and Julian talked about it. Did we do a Halloween Havoc show, Julian?
We did not.
Did we talk about it?
We talked briefly about it because we did the SmackDown show afterwards.
Oh yeah, that's right. I will say Tony D'Angelo is funny as shit.
He's funny as hell.
Like, even though
And Rex Snyder's amazing. There are some bright
the
spots.
name Tony D'Angelo is a disgraced racist hockey player.
Yes.
But the
I was
gimmick
stunned.
is over.
The gimmick, here's the thing. Tony D'Angelo went from being ironically over to sincerely over because
Like,
of his
he's trying to
commitment.
bribe the chick with $5. He's like,
Oh
yeah,
my
take
God,
this money.
yeah.
Hey, go buy yourself something, sweetheart.
He's so committed to it. It's
He's
hard
making
not
chicken
to.
salad out of chicken shit. He's doing it. He's fucking doing the
He
most.
is. He's killing it.
Yeah,
Tony
almost
D.
like Julian was killing it with the I do not acknowledge Roman Reigns as my tribal chief. He went the whole podcast. I was
sure
like,
did.
I'm proud of you for that, Julian. I'm proud of Julian for doing
I
that.
fulfilled a promise. I lost. I will not welch on a bet.
I
That's right.
decided your stipulation, fellas. You ready to hear it?
Let's hear it.
Go.
So Cass is doing this Getting Chopped series.
Yes.
I wanna
Whichever
chop
one
him
of
for
you
that.
loses has got to get chopped. And you got to give Cass a week off. That's,
Ooh.
I don't know. It could be by an 8-year-old kid. I don't care who it's by. But whoever loses,
Reverse
is
roles.
getting
The
your
kids are
asses
beating up the
chopped.
adults now.
we're giving Cass a week off.
Okay.
Ooh,
All right.
But
okay.
I'm coming
All
for
right.
receipts.
But I mean, that's just if like whoever loses. So I don't have to acknowledge. I think the gusto was me having to acknowledge Roman Reigns. So now that's
That would
off
be
the
correct.
table.
You got
That-
off.
no, no, no.
Kate was
No, no, no,
hitting
no,
you.
no. No.
You have to say, I acknowledge Roman Reigns as my tribal chief. And then
As I
you
get
get
checked?
chopped. Yeah. There it is.
Wow.
That's your equivalent of getting chopped.
Ooh, that is a hot
Okay.
take
And
right
now you have to
there.
have both.
Why not?
Damn.
Let's go.
And, hey, and Cheryl just said, no shirts.
No
shirts.
I don't want to show my chesticles. What the fuck?
Cass does.
He said
Nobody
it's a
wants
PG
to
show.
see
I
me
guess you
without a
don't care
shirt.
about the people enough.
What? Who? On bearskin? Okay. I think I've got
Not
a
a
bearskin
bearskin
rug
rug.
somewhere.
a bearskin rug.
I'll wear the fucking bearskin rug.
Listen here, Shawn
Roman
And I'll
Reigns
get you-
is my tribal chief. You take the shirt off and you get your ass chopped. That's how it's going.
Wait, my ass chopped?
No,
Or my
that's your
ass
look,
chapped?
that's like ass
What,
clamps.
do I need ass cream from the Usos? What the fuck?
That's like ass clamps.
I was gonna say that would also be compelling, but it would probably get taken down off of YouTube, and Cass would get mad at me. So no.
He'll get
Yeah,
mad at
boy.
me for what
Okay,
you
so-
do.
So chopped in the chest. But who does? If I win, which I probably will, Who does Julian have to de-acknowledge or acknowledge?
Well,
You just get straight chopped? There's no fun in that.
Acknowledge me.
On my body?
Photoshop Woods hands on my body.
Yo, fucking just exciting. I'm DMing you now, bro.
That's the BCW Worldwide Champion right there. Just
Or
exciting,
I
my
could
tag team
just
partner.
I could use my fucking old MySpace picture with my
Oh my
face
God, he
on
said
Norman
MySpace.
Smiley's head. Yes, I have that.
I
And doing the
think,
big wiggle.
Big wiggle.
think
Yeah.
we're going to be able to suss that out, pal.
Yes.
Right.
100%. 100%.
Julian has to acknowledge me as his tribal chief and then get chopped.
Okay. How about I just acknowledge you as the tribal chief and say,
No,
fuck
you
it.
have to acknowledge Roman Reigns if you hate this.
Why?
'Cause you
Why?
hate Roman.
Okay.
First off, 'cause I
No.
make the
Okay.
rules.
I acknowledge Joe Anawahi as my
No.
tribal chief.
I acknowledge Roman Reigns as my tribal chief. You take your shirt off and you get chopped.
Okay.
Now,
All right.
now
Why not?
what about Julian? Julian has to do. Okay, I got one for Julian since you did that.
No. He has to acknowledge me and then he has to get chopped.
Okay, so you have to say,
Right.
I acknowledge Kate Hensler as my tribal chief and the biggest heel on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
That's gonna go over with the fiance, but yeah, I like it.
She gonna be like, "Who the fuck is that?"
Yeah, the fiance you just took to the Virgin Islands. Yeah, good job. That's talk about a heel. I'm in. Let's go.
There it is.
You in, Julian?
Yeah, talk about getting chopped.
Yeah, I know, right? You're gonna get a fucking frying pan. You're gonna get 5 up.
Oh, she
Five
gonna give
upside
you a
the
chop,
head.
all right. She gonna
I
chop
will
you,
give
all right.
context.
Across the eyes.
Yeah, fuck it. I'm in. Let's do it.
All right, let's go.
I'm
Yeah.
glad I'm not doing this because she'll probably have me singing fucking Taylor Swift songs on the air.
Hey, with all the years that you put into the tribal chief, Adam Woods, yes, I acknowledge that. I fucking acknowledge I am the tribal chief. Because you know what? I don't wear fucking SWAT gear as a fucking tribal chief. You
Swat.
dumb fucks. You
Hey, but
fucked it up.
You spelled chief wrong, which is my
Yeah, I
favorite
know.
part of that.
Yeah, I was typing too fast. So
So,
here's something that I found very funny.
Uh-oh.
If you listen to the Friday edition of SmackDown when Roman Reigns was like, I was on a beach. I took a week off and I was on a beach with my wife. Did he say he was naked?
He said either naked or shirtless or something.
Well,
Something
he's
where he
naked
was
on the
trying to
beach. I thought of Hannah when he said that. I was like, I wonder what her Twitter is going to be like today.
Hannah
What?
at Share Delaware, we'll give her the proper shout out.
Yeah, that's your Delaware.
She just loves to, it's mostly Biggie Langston, but she just loves to basically post thirst tweets about wrestlers just to,
Yes.
and half of it is
Thirst
sincere, but like the other half of it is just to see.
Did you
people's
say
reaction.
half of it is sincere? I thought
Half
she was
of
in
it's
gimmick the
probably
whole
sincere.
time.
what about like Felicia Rose? Didn't she do a
Oh,
thing?
yeah.
The
Yeah,
know,
we're not
Finn
gonna talk about
suck me
Felicia
Finn.
Rose. I
Yeah.
will tell you this though, before we go, this match in Liverpool that's going to slap all the big meat. I'm talking about Cesaro versus fucking Sheamus. Someone better fucking send some fan video clip of that match because you know WWE isn't going to put it on there. Somebody has to put that out there. If anyone is listening to this podcast right now on Spotify, Google, Amazon, Pandora, iHeartRadio, or if you're watching on Facebook, Twitter, fucking YouTube, any bodyslam.net, if you're watching anywhere, please, oh God, please, I will Venmo you money if you
Well,
can
there
find
was-
a clip of this match.
There was so much about Cesaro and Walter that I feel like people are gonna
That-
they're gonna
They've
have to
got to
go
post it. They've got.
There-
They
to
got
there's no way they're-
Cesaro and Walter, dude. Oh, psst,
Look at what they did with what is
take
it?
my money. Take my money, please.
The WCW pay-per-view that they had, you know, and fucking Dustin came out as the natural Dustin Rhodes at first, the first iteration post WCW, he developed that moniker, right? And they made it into what, a 1 fucking hour fucking special? The
Yeah.
fuck ass? What was it, Starcade? It did Starcade as a 1 hour special on the fucking network. And they didn't even show the fucking Dustin deal. Like,
It is what it is.
fuck the WWE for getting anything right in pro wrestling. They make movies and they fucking appeal to kids. So
They
Whatever
make
the fuck.
noise.
I don't know, man. They got Bobby Lashley beating kids up, so they appealing to too
Yeah,
many
it's true.
kids.
Well, that's one way to say you're not in the fucking PG era, right?
Can't
Is beating up
Kids.
fucking kids.
They're not in the PG era. They're in the G era now. You don't.
You know
even
what's so
need parental
fucking
guidance.
fake, dude? I saw fucking Big E. Yes, thank you. I like it.
Yes, you do.
No, but the like when wrestlers are cursing now for 15 years of not cursing, no, fuck you. You're doing that because AEW and Ring of Honor and Impact Wrestling are more
Okay.
edgy than your asses.
I'm okay with that because competition is supposed to drive you to be better. So if that's the
Exactly.
case, that's
Correct.
fine. What I have a problem with is you using your like new cursing, like lack of limitations to be like, you bitch, or you don't have the balls every week. It just
Oh
gets
my God,
really
yes, the balls thing is so over. That's like so 90s.
And honestly, AEW does that enough too. And I
I'm a
think it
little
only
tired of
bugs
it.
me because I'm so oversaturated on it. But it's like I've said this since the beginning of NXT 2.0, especially. I think Vince was like, our ratings suck. What happened in the era that our ratings were the best, which was the Attitude Era, and I think he didn't think that I have to update it at all. I think he thinks he can just copy and paste from the Attitude Era into now, and that doesn't work at all anymore. But it's close to making sense. It's saying I'm at my lowest ratings. When did I have my highest ratings? Let's go back to doing more of that. But the updating that for
It just
this
doesn't match up,
decade
yeah.
has
Yeah.
not happened.
This is truly Vince booking. This is because guess what? Just like Warrior had Vince to kind of filter off, and that's why everywhere Warrior or Hogan went was the shits, right? Well, Vince had fucking Pat Patterson. Now that he doesn't have Pat Patterson, this is truly Vince booking. And Vince is a great
God,
promoter. He's a shit booker.
Yeah.
I didn't think of
He
that.
books. I remember Jeremy at Fightful saying he's great at booking moments, but
Mhm.
not feuds. And if that's not the truest son of a bitch thing that guy's ever said, I'll put Jeremy over. We have a fake feud. But like, it's so
We
true.
have a
Kofi
fake
Mania
feud.
was great, right? Like, Kofi Mania was wonderful, and it ended in a roll up to Brock Lesnar on a random ass episode of Raw.
Correct.
Like, he's very good at booking moments. He's terrible at booking feuds and pro wrestling. But like, to your point, no Pat Patterson. I mean, he's gone as far as to do no Triple H, right? So it's
Yeah.
really just a bunch of yes.
The heart
men. This
attack
is
kid.
Vince at his This is Vince at his most at his Vinciest, we'll
All
say.
right. At his Vincius.
Good shit,
I
pal.
will agree to that. I will agree to that. And I'm going to close out by saying this. Ladies and gentlemen, you are at an age of professional wrestling right now where it's the old versus the new. And for those of you who've watched I don't know if you guys have watched the movie The Eternals. Have any of you guys seen the movie yet?
Not yet.
Oh, then I'm not gonna ruin it for you. But I will tell you this. Harry Styles does show up in the movie.
In
Star
the
Fox, baby. Star Fox. Anyway,
Eros.
when you think of this, I want you guys to, for those who haven't seen the Eternals, but you've seen Infinity War, I want you to understand something. Thanos wasn't the bad guy. Vince McMahon is not Thanos. Vince McMahon is Captain America. He's Iron Man. He's Doctor Strange. He's the guy doing everything that he thinks is going to work from 10 years ago to bring something new to you now. And what he's not understanding is, in life, everything evolves. Everything. People evolve. Animals evolve.
Not Buff
Wrestling evolves. Things that, like the Bible says, nothing new under the sun.
Correct.
Well, there's nothing new under the sun when it comes to professional wrestling.
There's nothing new in the
When
square
you're
circle.
booking, when your booking is from 2000 and it's 2021. Sometimes you got to step into the future and stop thinking about what the past had to offer. You had success in the past. That doesn't guarantee you success in the future.
Correct.
But there's a saying in this world. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. The WWE is the definition of insanity right now. They're doing the same shit over and over and over again, expecting a different result. And guess what? It's not going to happen. So, you want to watch Raw? Great. You want to watch SmackDown? Great. You want to watch AEW? You want to watch Ring of Honor? You want to watch Impact Wrestling? Everyone, tribalism sucks. You can't really say you like one product over the other because guess what? It's all professional wrestling. You can not like the way one person's booking the show or the way another person's booking the show. Have fun, ladies and gentlemen, because that's what it's all about.
Enjoy
If
your
you're not
stuff.
having fun doing something, then Yokozuna said this to me when I was very young in this business. If you are not having fun doing what you're doing, get the fuck out. When it becomes a job, walk away. So, ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, this has been your boy, The Franchise, for Mr. Adam Woods, for the chemical one down there, Mr. Chemical Julian, and the biggest heel in all the sports infotainment right there, Kate Hensler. Hot take, Kate. This has been your boy, The Franchise, with the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast on BodySlam.net. With that being said, thank you very much for joining us. Have a great night.